Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into NFL Madness. It is a massive playoff bracket featuring all 32 teams. And today we're going to go through a simulation and see who comes out on top within this playoff bracket. Each round will only be one game. And the seeding, we're going to zoom this in. The seeding is based off of where the teams pick in terms of the draft. So it's all based on the draft. You can see the 1v32 matchup. We're going to actually zoom this in a little bit more. The 1v32 matchup, Kansas City taking on Chicago in Kansas City. That should be a blowout. Pittsburgh and Washington, the Commanders in the 16v17 matchup. Jacksonville sitting at an 8 seed, taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Maybe an upset. Desmond Ridder, Marcus Mariota. That'll be interesting. Minnesota and Carolina. Cincinnati and Indianapolis. The Seahawks are the 13 seed taking on the Jets. The Buffalo Bills will face the Denver Broncos in a 5v28 game. You have the Dolphins taking on the Browns, maybe with Deshaun Watson. They could, maybe an upset there, 12v21. The 2v31 game, Philadelphia versus Houston. I think those two teams played each other in a Thursday night game. Then you have Detroit and Green Bay in a 15v18 division rivalry game. The Giants and the Raiders, that's a little zesty matchup. Baltimore taking on New Orleans. I believe Lamar Jackson will be playing in the simulation. San Francisco taking on Arizona. Tampa Bay and the Patriots. Tampa Bay is Tom Brady resurrected from the dead? That is the question. They're a 14 seed. By the way, San Francisco's a 3 seed. Dallas sitting at a 6 seed taking on the Rams. And then the Chargers taking on the Tennessee Titans. So that's kind of how this is going to work out. We're going to go round by round. I do have this. This is a pretty in-depth simulator that you guys can see. And we're just going to, you have to set the away team. You can see Justin Fields, David Montgomery. You know, this is based off of the 2022 rosters. And I do apologize for the artillery barrage of ads that we're going to face because this thing, it makes me put the ads on. If I have my ad blocker on, there's like a message that takes up all the screen and I just can't do it. So I had to turn my ad blocker off. But you can see a 3-14 team versus a 14-3 team. And then it has, I don't know why it has this listed as the location. Oh my God, we're going to have it at Ebbets Field. No, I'm going to put it at Arrowhead, I guess. Yeah, we'll put it at Arrowhead. And 70 degrees. Yeah, well, you know what? We'll make it 60 degrees. No precipitation, no wind. The first game of the tournament. Let's see what happens. Oh my goodness, and we almost had it. A 32-1 upset. Oh, come on. Kansas City jumps out to a big lead. Justin Fields comes back, and then Kansas City scoring 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. They end up winning. Justin Fields, 11 attempts. Oh, that's rushing. Justin Fields, 115 rushing yards. Isaiah Pacheco, 16 carries for 106. Travis Kelce goes for a touchdown. Jerick McKinnon finds the end zone. Justin Fields, only 14 pass attempts. Mahomes goes 18 of 25 for 2-4. Can we stop with the ads? Please. I'm not going to sit here and do this. Patrick Mahomes, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 34-31, the final score. And there we go. I had to start the tournament. We're going to edit this, and we're going to report this Kansas City Chiefs 34-31 victory. And there the Chiefs are. They're moving on. The next matchup, it is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Washington Commanders, a 16 versus a 17. The winner will face the Kansas City Chiefs in the second round. And we have both teams here. It's Kenny Pickett, Taylor Heineke, and we are just going to play this game as is. This is a total toss-up. And the Washington Commanders win a very low-scoring game. My goodness, and the Steelers get a safety in the fourth quarter. Jahad Dotson, the rookie, starts it off. 47-yard touchdown. Let's take a look at the stats. Brian Robinson, 74 yards. Najee Harris goes 16 carries, 79 yards, and a touchdown. George Pickens, goes 3 for 74. I thought that was 2 touchdowns, but that's just 2 20-yard gains. Jahad Dotson, he's got a touchdown. You can see Taylor Heineke. Wow, look at this. Kenny Pickett, 12 of 29, 183 and a touchdown. Struggling there. But that is the final score there. So we do have the Washington Commanders, maybe a Cinderella in this tournament. They're a sleeper. The Washington Commanders will be moving on to face the Kansas City Chiefs. The next matchup, it's Jacksonville and Atlanta in an 8v25 game. Marcus Mariota versus Trevor Lawrence. 8v25. Let's see what happens. Atlanta versus, Jacksonville. And the Jaguars win 37-34 in a high-scoring game. Very high-scoring game. Tyler Algier. 16 carries, 157. Oh my goodness, they went off on the ground. How many rushing yards is that? 300. Marcus Mariota only had 2 carries. ETN goes 12 for 198. Did I set the sliders wrong or something? Marcus Mariota, 9 of 12. Trevor Lawrence, 21 of 27. And Jacksonville does win 37-34. So they will be advancing 37-34 with a victory. They hold off the upset, and they move on. They will be facing the winner of Minnesota versus Carolina in a 9v24 game. So here is the matchup. Carolina, Minnesota, Baker Mayfield versus Kirk Cousins. Minnesota coming in as the 9 seed. Let's see what happens in this game. 9v24, and the Minnesota Vikings with a statement victory at US Bank Stadium over Carolina. 40-burger, 40-22. They end up winning. Dalvin Cook, decent numbers. Matson, good numbers. It's like they love the rushing in this simulator. Hawkinson, 5 for 131 and 3 touchdowns. Excuse me. Jesus. Baker Mayfield goes 14 of 32 for 232 somehow. 0 touchdowns and interception. Kirk Cousins, he might win MVP of this tournament. 19 of 23, 323 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. They end up winning this game 40-22, and we will advance Minnesota. They win. I'm going to move this out of the way. 40-22 Minnesota. So they will go and face Jacksonville in the second round. The next matchup is Cincinnati versus Indianapolis in a 4v29 game. I would expect a blowout in this game, honestly. Matt Ryan versus Joe Burrow. The Colts versus the Bengals. It's a big spread. Let's see what happens. And oh my goodness, the Cincinnati Bengals destroy Indianapolis 49-17. I'm guessing Joe Burrow went off. Let's see what happened. Joe Mixon goes 17 for 128 and a touchdown. Matt Ryan, 13 of 28. Joe Burrow, 19 of 24, 289, 5 touchdowns. Tyler Boyd, 3 catches for 39 yards and 3 touchdowns. Excuse you. I mean, I don't even know how that happens. 49-17, the final score there. Let's report that. And they'll be taking on the winner of Seattle versus the New York Jets. So this is the 13v20 matchup. Could we get a Zach Wilson redemption? Redemption possible for Zachary Wilson. What do we have here? In Seattle, they end up winning. Despite the Jets dropping 20 points in the second quarter, the Seahawks are victorious. They will be moving on. Kenneth Walker, 93 yards. Breece Hall. Okay, what is going on with this? Folks, this is just not realistic at this point. How are you going to have 9 carries for 175, 3 touchdowns? Garrett Wilson goes 3 catches for 51 yards. Zach Wilson, just horrible. 10 of 22 for 132. Geno Smith with a decent game. Let's lock this score in. 31-27. We're getting some higher scoring games. Seattle, the 13 seed, will advance. They beat the Jets. I misdid this one, I guess. So that's what it is. Submit that, please. Submit. There we go. So Cincinnati, I accidentally put Indianapolis. It's Cincinnati versus Seattle in the second round. The next matchup is Buffalo versus Denver. That should be a blowout. All right, so 5-12 team versus a 13-3. Russell Wilson, Latavius Murray, and Melvin Gordon. The running backs. I'm expecting huge things from the running backs in this game with how it's been going. Oh my goodness. The Buffalo Bills in a major Cinderella upset. Russell Wilson, the true Cinderella of the NFL, wins this game somehow on the road in a shocker to all of March Madness. The first major upset, Melvin Gordon, Latavius. Okay, what is with these sliders? I'm sorry. You're not going to have 300 rushing yards, and then James Cook goes for 117 on 6 carries, folks. Someone make it make sense. Josh Allen had 7 carries for 42 yards. Josh Allen, oh my goodness, what happened? 11 of 28 for 155. Russell Wilson, the game manager and the true Cinderella of the NFL, somehow moves on, and they win this matchup 23-13. That is a total shock. And the Denver Broncos will be moving on. And now this sets up very well for the winner of Miami and Cleveland, because they're going to face the 28 seed in the second round. Miami, Cleveland coming up next. Taking a look, it's the Browns coming in at 7-10 versus the Dolphins at 9-8. Deshaun Watson versus Tua. This should be a heavyweight showdown. Let's see what happens here. And the Miami Dolphins end up escaping and winning this game by 3. And, okay, now the rushing maybe isn't crazy. Let's see. Donovan Peoples-Jones goes off. Jalen Waddle, huge game. Tyreek Hill a little quiet. He goes 6 for 62. Really nice game from both Deshaun Watson and Tua. Deshaun Watson, 3 touchdowns on 19 attempts. Tua, 2 touchdowns on 29 attempts. And the Dolphins end up advancing. They win that game 27-24. So we will report that score 27-24. A Miami Dolphins victory. And now the bracket is kind of open for Miami, facing Denver in that second round. Next, we've got a 2v31 game. And the Houston Texans are going to need a miracle. All right, this is the matchup. It is 3-13-1 versus 14-3. We are going to bring the temperature down a little bit. And we will have some light snow, 25 degrees there. And see, we'll just change it and see what it does. We'll see if it changes anything. But Philadelphia, heavy favorites being the home team in this one. And we do have Philadelphia dangerously close, winning this game 36-29. That is a good effort from the 31 seed. And it was almost a crazy upset. Miles Sanders goes off. Dallas Goedert has a good game. Brandon Cooks, 5 for 187. He turns back the clock. Davis Mills goes for 400. Oh my goodness, Davis Mills just made himself a lot of money in this simulation with that performance. You've got Jalen Hurts, really not that good of a game. I'm guessing he had, how about Trey Sherman getting a shout out with 1 carry for -1 yards. Jalen Hurts did have 49 yards, but kind of an off game from Jalen Hurts. A.J. Brown just 56 yards. Jordan Atkins goes crazy. He's trying to get a new contract. But yes, Philadelphia does hang on and win 36-29. So we will go ahead and report that. Almost an upset bid, but not going to happen. Philadelphia wins, and they end up advancing. Next game, we have the divisional rivalry. It is Detroit taking on Green Bay without Aaron Rodgers. So this is our first look. I went ahead and edited it. So Jordan Love is the starter for the Packers, 8-9 versus 9-8. Should be a really, really good game here. Either way, this is Jordan Love's big day. Oh my goodness. Jordan Love gets wrecked in his first game without Aaron Rodgers. 42-9. Oh my goodness. Jared Goff goes crazy. A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams. Well, he's not on their team anymore, but just looking at this, Jared Goff, I mean, he only had 158 total. Oh, come on now. This is a little mean. Is this not a little exaggerated for Jordan Love? 6 of 29. My goodness, Jordan Love. Maybe there should be a consolation bracket and we can see what Jordan Love can do in the consolation bracket. I might have to do that. That is a sad, sad performance. But yeah, I mean, this Detroit team, they want to win this. They end up winning that game 42-9 using the defense, and they win that one. So we will enter that in 42-9. They advance, and they will face the 2-seed Philadelphia Eagles. Next, we have the Giants taking on the Raiders in a 7v26 matchup. All right, so I did edit the depth chart, and I gave the Raiders Jarrett Stidham. I know they have Jimmy G, but you cannot insert him because he's not on the roster according to this. He's not on their 2022 roster. So it's going to be Jarrett Stidham facing Daniel Jones. You've got the Raiders coming in at 6-11. This would be a huge upset if they won this game against the Giants. Oh my goodness, Jarrett Stidham. He just might have gotten a $300 million contract at the Meadow, at MetLife. They end up winning 30-20. Saquon Barkley, not much doing on the ground. Zamir White goes 5 for 64. There's not a lot of passing. Jarrett Stidham, 9 of 19, 181. Daniel Jones, only 17 pass attempts. It's weird because I'm putting it favor passing as the setting, but they're not throwing the ball at all. So this is mainly a run-based thing, and that is a huge upset for the Raiders, 30-20. The 26 seed is advancing with Jarrett Stidham as a Cinderella story in the NFL. 30-20, the Raiders advance, and they will be taking on the winner of Baltimore and New Orleans. So this is the matchup. Lamar Jackson playing for a new contract. He needs this win, and he's going to be starting. You've got, I don't know why Kenyon Drake is the RB1, but okay. And then Andy Dalton, we know they have Derek Carr now, but I can't edit it. So let's go ahead and play this game in Baltimore and see. And we do have the New Orleans Saints in a shocking upset, winning this game and beating Lamar Jackson 34-26 with Andy Dalton. Wow, Lamar Jackson, 5 carries, 50 yards. Alvin Kamara, not great numbers there. Chris Olave, the rookie, goes for 66 yards. Andy Dalton, 17-26. Lamar Jackson, he just lost over $100 million with this performance. 11 of 26, 138. No touchdowns and an interception. Mark Andrews, just 1 catch on the day. Wow. That is a crazy upset there. What did J.K. Dobbins even have? If it'll load. J.K. Dobbins and Kenyon Drake both had 11 carries. Devin Duvernay randomly had a carry for 51 yards. But, yeah, that's a crazy upset there. New Orleans over Baltimore, 34-26. The final score there. New Orleans gets the win, and they will be moving on. So that's how about that? 26 seed versus a 23 seed. And then moving to the bottom of the bracket, you've got San Francisco versus Arizona in a 3v30 matchup. I apologize. I did forget to minimize my webcam. But so we have Arizona and San Fran. And you know what we're going to do? We're just going to see what happens if we put it at -15. I mean, could these players drop dead on the field due to hypothermia? This should be a blowout win for San Francisco. Will the -15 historic low temperatures in San Fran affect both of these warm weather teams? This will be interesting. And we've got 38-16 in -15 degree weather, historical cold weather. It doesn't affect these teams. They still score. James Conner struggles. Zach Ertz randomly shows up and has a nice game. Ray McLeod Wow. Nice game for him. Christian McCaffrey. I mean, how many... look at all these rush attempts. It's just crazy. But overall, Jimmy G, the game manager, 15 of 20, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Kyler Murray, 13 of 23. I don't want coffee. Please stop. Please, I don't want coffee right now. Just get out of here, man. You can't have those things come up. I don't want a video. That's when it gets ridiculous. James Conner struggles. Kyler Murray struggles to run the ball. Just 14 rushing yards. And the cold weather has no effect. 38-16. I really don't even think it registers the cold weather, honestly. There's no way if it was actually negative 15 degrees, there would be this many points. These teams would shrivel up. So San Francisco moves on. Next, it's Tampa Bay and the ghost of Tom Brady taking on New England in a revenge game. Tom Brady, for the second time, coming out of retirement as a ghost to face his former team. What a matchup. It's a very evenly matched game in Tampa Bay. 8-9 versus 8-9. Tom Brady is back. This is a crazy situation, unretiring for the second time, and Tom Brady gets shut down by Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick says, listen, I actually carried you. You were carried by my defenses, and wow, that is a tough look for Tom Brady. And you know what? He'll probably have to divorce his wife again after this one. Stevenson, 13 carries, 100 yards. Strong Jr. Oh, come on. 2 carries for 67 yards and 2 touchdowns. Let me tell you, this simulation makes my brain hurt. Mac Jones has 13 pass attempts. Can we not do this, man? I can't do it, dude. I can't. Not with the Eds. Tom Brady, 16 of 31, 127, and 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. I'm going to get copyright striked due to advertisers. So it's like, how does that even make sense? I don't know. But New England does win 16-9, and they will be advancing after kind of an upset win there, 16-9 on the road over Tampa Bay. They move on. It took about an hour to save. They move on to face the San Francisco Giants, and then the last 2 matchups, the Dallas Cowboys, heavy favorites over the Rams in a 6v27 game at home. And we're expecting, even with Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp healthy in this sim, a pretty easy Dallas victory, but you never know with Dak Prescott. And it's a lower scoring win. Wow. For the Dallas Cowboys, they get the job done. Zeke Elliott, Tony Pollard. Zeke, recently got cut or released from Dallas. He ends up with 81 yards, no touchdowns. Tony Pollard gets a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb, 7 catches, 52 yards. Dak Prescott, really bad game, but they do get the win. 13 of 18, 148, 2 interceptions, but Dallas is moving on. 19-14, the final score in that one. So Dallas moves on. 19-14. And then the final matchup of round 1, 11v22, the Chargers taking on the Tennessee Titans at home. All right, so in the final matchup of round 1, it's going to be Ryan Tannehill taking on Justin Herbert, with the Chargers being the favorites in this one. Let's see what it spits out. And there's an upset. And what a resurrection for Ryan Tannehill. And a March Cinderella story. Dontre Hilliard, the true Cinderella, gets a touchdown. Derrick Henry, oh my God. Derrick Henry just nuked their entire team. 238, 2 touchdowns. Wow. And then for the Chargers, Austin Eckler, nothing. Josh Kelly, not much. Herbert goes for 325 and 2 touchdowns. But that is a major upset, and I would say that is just a performance. Derrick Henry is probably leader for the MVP of the entire tournament with that final performance in round 1, 38-20. The Tennessee Titans will be advancing. So they move on. So guys, that is going to be it for round 1 of the tournament. We will go ahead and zoom it in and give everyone a breakdown. You've got Kansas City holding serve against Chicago. The Commanders beating the Steelers in a low-scoring game. That sets up a 1v17 matchup. Jacksonville holds serve 37-34 over the 25 seed. Minnesota does as well, so an 8v9 second-round matchup, Jacksonville versus Minnesota. Next, you have Cincinnati crushing Indianapolis as the 4 seed. They will face Seattle in a 4v13 game. Crazy upset, one of the biggest upsets of round 1. Denver beats Buffalo. Really bad game for Josh Allen. Denver advances to face the Dolphins 12v28. Next, you have Philadelphia beating Houston. Houston almost with an upset there. The 2 seed advances. They will face Detroit in the second round. Another crazy upset. The Raiders, the 26th seed, beat the Giants with Jarrett Stidham, and they face the Saints in a 26v23 matchup. Then you do have San Francisco beating Arizona, and the New England Patriots beating the Bucs, so that's a 3v19 matchup. And then Dallas beats the Rams. The 6th seed will take on the Tennessee Titans, who are the 22nd seed, and with Derrick Henry having that crazy game. So guys, this will probably be a 2-part series if I do it, because basically half the tournament is already simmed. It gets a lot easier to simulate as the rounds go on because there's less teams. There's half teams left now, so it'll be faster to simulate. But that is part 1 of the NFL Madness 32-team full bracket simulation. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.